Hello, beautiful people. Happy almost the mother flipping weekend. Okay. So I got a DM from a girl named China, right? China asked me to come on my radio show so that she could share her story. First, I'm like, I don't have a radio show. I might just skip over this DM because I do get a lot of DMs. But then I said, let me just go to her Instagram and let me just see what's going on. So I clicked on her Instagram and I saw her share her story on her latest reel. When I saw what she was going through, I said, oh my gosh. Now, I may not have a radio show anymore, but thank God we have social media. That is a free platform. So I said, I'm going to need China to come on here and tell her story. She even went so far as to reaching out to the Steve Harvey show. They were about to put her on. You know what? I'm not going to share her story for you guys. Hopefully she's going to come in on the live in just a second and tell you what she's been going through. And it just amazes and astonishes me when people say things like, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad week, my life isn't where I want to be. But then you hear someone else's story and you go, well, I guess my life really ain't that bad at all. And that's always the beauty about hearing other people's struggles, so it can put your struggle into perspective. So China's going to come on here. She's going to talk to us. We're going to love all over her. And hopefully we are able to see some results by the end of this live. But the most important thing is hearing this woman's story. Oh, China just joined. Hey, China Boo. And shout out to everybody who's on here. Hi, guys. Happy almost lunch. I'm fasting today. So I'm not eating right now. I'm not drinking right now. I just need to get my spiritual side into a different space. I've been going through a lot with these businesses and this change of pace in my career. Like it's been a lot. So I'm fasting right now to clear out my soul a little bit. And amazing. I just accepted her, so she should be joining us. You so dope. Thank you, Shavo Music. Hey, Thickum. Anwar, how are you? Hi, beautiful.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I am good.
Oh, you look good.
Thank you. You do too. Y'all look beautiful though.
China girl. You've had quite a journey.
Absolutely.
For anyone
Definitely a journey.
who has not tuned into your story, can you start from the very beginning?
Okay, so I'm gonna make it short, as short as possible, but
don't make it short. You pull us in, girl.
Got you. Okay, so I was born in Augusta, Georgia, and as a newborn, I'm assuming just from hearing bits and pieces of my story that my birth mother, took me home and apparently tried, I don't know, she tried to raise me or whatever. But a couple weeks after that, I was about 3 to 4 weeks old, they say, she left me in an abandoned part of a hospital. Now, it was a teaching hospital, so you have the university side and then you have the hospital side. And there's a connector between the two that was abandoned at the time. Mm-hmm. So I was left, I wasn't around anybody, where nobody could find me. I don't know if she had hopes that somebody would find me, but where I was left, it just so happened that a doctor was walking by on what I assume a smoke break or something like that and heard me crying. Had I not been crying, I don't know what would have happened. I probably never would have been found, but he did find me, and they tried to figure out who my mother was, but nobody could figure out anything. So from there, the state actually gave me a name, and like I told you, it was a horrible name. It was Suzanne. No disrespect to the Suzanne.
All the Suzannes.
Look, we love you, but I don't think that was a good fit for me. But they named me Suzanne. They gave me a birthday, and the birthday was the day that I was found. So I celebrate every year on that day, but I don't know my actual birthday. I don't know my name. I don't know any relatives or anything. So I ended up going to a foster home in Augusta. Miss Daisy Johnson. She was an amazing woman. I got the opportunity to meet her a couple times during my childhood, but she has passed. But she took me in, and I was adopted at 8 months. And I actually only have even one picture of myself from that time period, and that was taken at the foster home. And it just says on the back, Baby Suzanne, and the date was 8/25/88.
And again, you have that picture.
I do have that picture yet. My mom actually kept that picture. She got it for me. I've tried several times to find out something. I just do not know which way to go. I actually reached out to someone that was connected to the Steve Harvey show about a couple years ago, and they connected me with the executive producer of Steve TV, which was the show that he was running at the time. And we set everything up. I let her know my story. She pitched it to the team. They decided to take it on. And then they sent me a DNA test and everything to do to try to figure out something, at least from that way, since we didn't know, what other way to go about doing it. And a couple months after that, his show was canceled. I reached out to people and I got no response. And I understand it because, I mean, everybody's world was shaking up when that show was canceled. People had to find new jobs and everything. So I was probably at the back of their mind at the time. So it just left me in limbo. And I did have a friend that, well, actually a client, a lovely client of mine that did some research. Her son did some research on my DNA results. So he was able to access those, but it was a dead end. So,
oh no. So what did it show? Anything?
You said, what did they what?
The DNA results.
They did.
What are the like?
They tried to link me with a possible relative in the system, but it just nothing. Yeah.
Because you don't know a last name, you don't know a first name, you don't even know your real name, You don't know a birth date. And hospital? Do you assume it was the hospital you were left in?
That's what we assume, but we still don't know for sure. Even down to going to the hospital and finding results. I've called a time before, because there was a time that I actually spoke to my husband about it. He's very, very supportive. And he's like, let's call the hospital. So we called the hospital and they could not tell me anything. I'm even thinking footprints. Maybe the footprints, could, nothing.
Wow. Nope. In a situation like this, I mean, maybe a private investigator. Have you ever thought about that?
I thought about it. I reached out to one, and she's called the Adoption Angel. But once I told her my story, she was like, I don't know, that's difficult. And that just kind of, so it's been discouraged. I don't even know. I don't know where to start. So I'm assuming that maybe if I get my story out there, maybe somebody, if not even my mother, maybe a father or sister, brother, somebody will hear it and like, hey, that sounds kind of familiar.
Right, because you can see somebody who's been pregnant for 9 months. The 9 months pass, and then everyone's looking around like, okay, so where's the baby?
Right, exactly. Somebody knows something. I just don't know how to get to, those people. So here we
So
are.
last night when we were talking, before I decided to hop on live, I asked you, what is your intention behind even coming on live today? Because we know that, obviously, it may not have the results that you were looking for with the Steve Harvey show. We can't do that. But you were telling me that you had a goal in mind. What was that?
Okay, so several goals. First was, and I told you selfishly, I just want to know, because I can make up these stories in my mind of what it is. And until you really know, it's like forever torment. We keep going and we do what we got to do, for the most part. But it is really rough. Every day you wake up, it's on your mind. Every time I look at my children, I have 2 kids, 6 and 3 months. Every time I look at them, it's on my mind. So that's my first goal, is to just, figure me out. Because I, even down to things that I do or, certain characteristics that I have, I often find myself wondering, like, do I get this from my mom? Like, even where other people won't understand me, I'm like, well, if I knew who she was, maybe I would understand some things and maybe she would understand me. So that's the first thing. And then I told you as well, I don't want this to be a burden on my children. Because if I don't just put my big girl pants on and step out here and do what's hard to do, because it's very hard, then that's possibly a burden that they can end up taking on in the future if they decide they want to figure out something. And if it's some disappointment in there, hopefully it's not. But if it is, I do not want that on them. And then another thing I was telling you, I've always talked about starting a foundation where I helped foster moms and foster kids. And I kind of wanted to uh, tailor it to teaching them my craft, which is sewing. And that's what I've been doing for the past 20 plus years. But I just more so want to help people that are going through the same thing, and even just show them that, hey, I did it, you could do it too. And it's never too late. When you make that decision that you do want to find something out, have that courage to do it, because you never know how it could change your life.
Oh, girl. Oh, my. Tell me about when you found out that you were adopted and no one knows.
Okay, so how I found out was crazy. I was actually, I was in school, and a best friend of mine, actually, we got into it, and probably over something silly like crayons or something. I can't even remember at the time, but I was in like, I want to say like third grade, fourth grade, something like that. And she blurted out, "That's why your mom is not your mom." And
your friend in school?
My friend. You know, kids are funny. So
how did
she
you
said
know
that? And her mother, my mother confided in her mother, and her mother told her.
Oh, my God.
And I didn't know at the time. And at the time, it was actually before third grade, because my father died. My adopted father, who's awesome. My mom, she's awesome. All credit to them. But my father was sick with diabetes at the time. And he had decided that he didn't want to tell me because I was such a daddy's girl, and I guess he felt like it would kind of crush my whole life. So yeah, she ended up telling me, and we got into it bad. And my mom got called up to the school, and on the way leaving the school, I just remember her asking me what happened, and I told her, and it just got silent. It just got silent, and I just remember, like, Mom, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
she's lying,
right.
Please.
Of course she's lying, right? But no,
wow.
She ended up telling me. And my mom she's older. She's actually 81 now. So there's a communication disconnect. I love her to death, and she loves me to death. You said, did I fight her?
Don't look at that comment. He a mess.
maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, so we kind of have like a little communication disconnect sometimes. So she's not she's harsh sometimes. Like, she'll just say it for what it is. So at the time, she probably, yeah, it's true, and then just didn't explain any further. So yeah, that's how I found out. Yeah.
Wow. So nobody's sitting you down and saying, we have something to tell you. Wow, girl. So after that moment, how did you feel? Like, you're waking up and now you know, and you're looking at your parents. You guys are eating dinner. You're walking around. Like, how did you feel?
It was a strange feeling, like, because and I understand why some parents don't want to let their children know, especially at a young age, because it's a lot to process, and it's hard to even comprehend that some, like, people that you've looked at your whole life as, your parents, that they're not. And it took years for my mom to finally tell me the full story.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, and I'm glad she waited, because I couldn't handle it. And I did start lashing out in a lot of ways, just because I was just upset. I was just upset, and I just felt like nobody understood me. Wow. And I need to probably apologize to my mom, because I know I gave her.
You was a hot mess.
A lot of situations. Oh my gosh! But
she didn't take you to counseling.
In the Black community, we run from counseling. And it's a bad thing, definitely, but we run from it. So it was spoken about, and through the years we may have had, several other conversations about it, but it was never anything that I got help for. And I do feel like it's affected me and my relationships. Abandonment issues are real. Anxiety is real, and they will cause you to close off from so many people. And you know, and also with people, it'll cause you to overextend yourself. And in so many relationships
Because you don't
before,
want them to leave,
you do.
girl.
And let me tell you something, that is not the way to go, because guess what they always end up doing when you do that? They leave.
Come on, because you can't make nobody stay.
You can.
That's just not what you have the ability to do.
Yeah. And
I don't care. Is this your daughter, Madison?
yeah, that's my baby.
Hey,
Love you, mommy.
girl.
That's my 6-year-old. She's so tech savvy, it's crazy.
I'm like, how? What? Because you're not old enough to have like a, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wait a minute, mommy. Now, I know that ain't my 4-year-old. Whose kid is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so crazy. In your journey, you know, when you're trying to do all this, because your daughter's right here, what kind of emotions, feelings, and encouragement has your husband and your kids been giving to you?
They've been keeping me going, honestly, because it's been times where, and see, I said I wasn't gonna cry my lashes off, Lord. It's been times where it was really, really rough, even after I had my first child. Like I was telling you, it's certain things you go through that most people will take for granted. Like when a doctor asks you, you know, about your family history, and you I don't know, and they're like, you don't know. What do you mean you don't know? And then you have to explain that, and then you have to explain that to your children. But my baby is so loving. My husband is so loving and supportive. He's the one that pushed me to do this, because on my own,
Strength.
yeah. And even down to my story, he always tells me, like, your story is amazing. Why aren't you telling it? And to me, it's just my story, you know? So I'm like, why would anybody else even be interested in that? It's just so many emotions, so many feelings that you go through. It's hard, but they have been my support system 100%. Definitely, definitely. And before them, I really, looking back, I don't know how I made it. Seriously, even down to becoming a business owner. You know yourself, because I hear you talking about your entrepreneurial
Being
journey.
as hard as hell. What you about to
Girl,
say?
oh my God, it's so hard. And then just even down to a support system. My family, my adopted family, there are a few of them that really rock with me. And I mean, when I say a few, I mean I could count them on one hand. But as far as the rest of my family, on my mom and my my adopted mom and my adopted dad's side, they there have been times where we have been at family functions, and I'll hear whispers about, people asking, well, who is that? And then they're like, oh, she's not really in the family. She's just adopted. Like, I've literally
Oh my
heard things
goodness
like
gracious.
as a kid, Christmas time, everybody else is getting these good gifts, and I get socks, and socks that don't even match, like, things like that. So it's been rough not having support. Even when I started my business, my mom, and I swear, I don't want, she's an amazing person. I do not want to make her sound bad, but she's older, like I said. So a lot of times when I would explain my journey to her and what I was doing, she did not understand it.
Wow.
So
What was
I
she
literally had to
saying? What was some of the feedback you were getting from her?
get a job,
You're kidding.
get a job, give that up, get a job. And I'm telling her, like, no, I
She's
know,
traditional.
yeah, I know what I can do. I know I can do this. So it was praying kept me going. And I just said, I don't know how I made it this far. I do know, praying. I've always been big on prayer, and that kept me going. Like, honestly.
Girl, what a life, what a road you had to walk on. You know, a lot of us, because in our communities we don't do counseling, a lot of our parents, they've never been entrepreneurs, they're afraid of death, of not being able to pay their bills. We have so much already that we have to fight through in order to come out of that worker class and get into the
Yeah.
entrepreneurial wealth building class. So to imagine that, plus not knowing your history. That is tough. I
It is
cannot
hard.
imagine.
It
I
is
can't imagine.
Yeah.
What's something that you really wish you could do if you had the opportunity to, no, not sing. What do you want to ask? What would you like to ask your birth parents?
Well, the first thing is why. Um, I just really want to know why. Because I look at my kids and
Mm,
I could never imagine leaving them. So
mm.
here I go again. Okay. So I just want to know why. And I feel like that would ease a lot for me, just having that understanding of why.
Yeah.
Why wasn't I good enough to try? And I know everybody has a different story, everybody has a different struggle. And I'm sure my mom had her reasons, but I just want to know why. And
Oh,
I do, part of me wants them to see, like, I still did it. I still did it. I'm sorry.
and you're so successful. You have a beautiful family. They're loving all over you, and you have the strength to look, knowing you may not ever find, knowing the possibility that they might be people who you're like, oh, I wish I never knew that this
Yeah,
is what I came from. You still have the strength to even go out there. Like, girl, that is a beautiful thing. Tasha, give her some love. Tasha said, don't cry, sir.
I'm trying, girl. I'm
Shannon
trying.
giving you some love.
I'm
Okay,
a,
I said,
I'm a
I'm going
big
to join
crybaby.
you. I'm gonna cry with you because
Girl,
what I'm not
don't.
going to do is wipe my tears
Because then
away.
I won't stop.
Oh, they're already on my cheeks. I'm not going to wipe them because I feel like these are necessary. Sometimes things that stop us from going to something like counseling is not wanting to look like I am weak, like I'm not able, like I need someone to help me. The word help, even, you got to take the ego off your back to say the H word. Like
That's really
make
weird.
Benzo, we appreciate you for buying a badge. We really, really, really do. If you had an endeavor like or have you ever had an endeavor like a GoFundMe to be able to, I don't know, not hire a search party, but you have an area like Augusta. It's only with so many families. These families, they generations. It's not a city. They're not coming and going, coming. They're put. So do you feel like if you had a search party to knock on some doors, to go to some communities, to show some pictures, do you feel like it would be positive for you?
Absolutely. But you said something so, it rang true to me. You said asking for help is hard. I've never wanted to be a sob story. You know what I'm saying? And I've always wanted to show myself in the world like I got this. So that's even been hard to me. And I've had people suggest that to me, and it's just hard. It's just hard to ask for help because, like you said, you look weak. You feel weak. But I'm at a point in my life where I know what I want and I know what I need for my soul and for my happiness and for the happiness of my family. So I'm at a point where something like that would help. Absolutely.
It would. It might be time to consider that. Start campaigning. I'm sure there has got to be organizations like the one that you want to start, and outside of just helping the families, helping connect the families. You know what I mean? Like somebody who will fund something like that because that's a life. You are a life. They are lives. Your children are lives, and connecting families together. That's how we thrive with our lives, and not just get stuck in life. Just, girl, life can get you stuck sometimes. And I don't mean
Oh,
physically, like you can't get out the mud. I mean in your mind, you can't get out the bed. I mean in your mind, you can't get off that couch. You're just sitting there in your own, you know.
yeah. I've had those moments, and yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've had moments where I just didn't even want to. I'm like, what's the point? It just sometimes you'll feel so low, and then you're already battling how you feel inside, and then the outside world sometimes doesn't make it better.
Mm,
So,
mm, 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 mm. So we have a lot of people who are loving on you. Does anybody have any questions for China? Anybody sitting there watching, like, how come you didn't, or did you ever, like, any suggestions, anything that you might have gone through that you can help shed light to her? Because, I mean, that's why China's telling her story. She's trying to let other people know that if this is going through, if you're going through this, if you don't have a loving and supporting husband, spouse to push you, sometimes you have to. Oh, Tasha says, if you have a name and a birth date, I can find your family. Tasha, you must have
don't,
just got here, baby girl. When I say China doesn't have
nothing.
anything.
Nothing. I have
You
to
don't
laugh
need
to
to
keep
know
from
her
crying.
own birth date. You don't know your own birth date.
It's
What is that like?
a perk though, because I celebrate the whole month. Just because I don't know. So it's a birth.
Girl, that's what a lot of y'all do just because. Talking about birthday months. No, friends. You have a birth date. Man, that's wild. Oh, girl. But so, Tasha, what do you do? How can you help her? Is this an organization that you have? Are you an investigator? I suppose we shouldn't wait
This
for
is so
silence. I don't know if we should, but I just want to know. Should we bring Tasha in? Tasha, do you want to talk to us? Do you want to shed some light? Maybe you're typing a whole monologue right now and it's taking you some time. I don't know, but if you'd like to join in, you can, because even though I haven't gone through something like this, if you're just an empathetic person, it's easy to feel any type of emotion associated with not knowing your history as Black people. Some of us say we didn't come from Africa. Some of them say that we've been here the whole time. Some of them say that we're actually Jews. Some say we're from Senegal and Gambia, but not from the, we don't know as a people. And you see how that affects us. So imagine just that, that's like hundreds of years ago. We can trace back 4 grandmas, but imagine not even being able to do that. Not one grandma, not one mom. That's one remove. I can't. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot. It's heavy. Do you feel weight?
You said, do I feel weight?
Is it heavy for you?
Daily. Yeah, and it doesn't, you want to believe that it gets easier, but it doesn't. It actually gets harder as you get older. And then, like I was saying, my adopted mom is 81. So I'm actually having to take care of her now. She's actually moving in with me because she's gotten to that point where she's just out there doing crazy stuff. So, me and my husband talked about it and we decided to move her in. But even down to seeing her get older. And like I said, my adopted dad passed when I was 11 from diabetes. And she's, aside from my family that I've built, that me and my husband have built, I don't have anybody except for her. So now even coming to the realization that, God willing, she makes it to 120, 130, who knows, but just I have to be realistic. And even the questions that I may need to ask her now with me going on this journey, I want to make sure that I get those answered before I have nobody else to ask.
Wow.
So it's,
you know what I really want to know? Because choosing a man is difficult, period. Like, it's trials and tribulations, okay? How was it for you when they say stuff like, I want to meet your mom? How come I'm not around, you're this and you're that? Like, how was dating for you with that?
Ooh, okay. So me and my husband, we have a great relationship. We talk about literally everything. So that makes it, a little bit easier, but that's been rough. Even down to his family I thank God for them, because his mom, his sisters, his aunt, they do for our children. Like, they help in that aspect, and they and they're very supportive of him and what he does. But when it comes down to my side, it is kind of unfair, imbalance, and that does get hard. Even down to family events and stuff, where I would be like, hey, let's go over my aunt's house, and she's having a cook. I don't have those moments. I don't get to have any of those moments. I don't get to have even a break. His family is in North Carolina as well, and I'm in Georgia. So even down to having a break with the babies, because those babies can be a lot. And we talked about it. They are different now. So even my baby told me the other day she wants a Lamborghini, and I'm just like, who gonna buy that for you?
My son said the same thing.
Where? I don't know where to get it from.
got him a toy Lamborghini.
Look, my first car was a Mazda Protege. So,
mine was a Honda Del Sol.
Look, but just even down to having, you know, grandma and cousins and this and that, like I don't have that. I don't have that support at all. No. Yeah.
Wow, girl. Oh man. And then going off to like college, right? Big moments for you of achievement. And you got your mom. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Even at my graduation, because I started college in 2006. Did I graduate? Yeah, 2006. And I ended up dropping out because I did not have support and I had to work. I didn't have, you know, I see all of my friends, they have family members that they could call on, and I didn't have that. So I'm like, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna work and, you know, survive. And I actually ended up going back to school when I turned 30. I'm 35 now, and I did end up getting my bachelor's. And my husband actually pushed me to do that too. So I ended up doing online.
Is this man, girl? Bring him in the camera.
Look, he came out of nowhere too. I was in that phase where I'm like, you know what? I am through with guys. They are whack. I'm just gonna focus on myself, focus on my business. And he just dropped out of the sky from a country town in North Carolina all the way to Atlanta.
Really?
I knew his grandfather. His grandfather lived next door to me, so that's how we ended up meeting.
So he would come visit his granddaddy.
Huh?
He would come visit his granddad and see you.
Yep. And then, oh my gosh, this country guy coming up to me, shirt off, like, I'm like, oh my God, smooth. I'm like, honey, bye. But then he was so persistent. I remember one time I was going to work out. He was like, you know what? I'm going to work out with you. So he got his little workout gear on. I would go walking just to kind of clear my mind. And I remember he was like, get on this side of the road. I don't want you standing by the cars. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, I love me a country man.
Look, so the rest is history. Now we have 2 kids and we're married. Yeah.
Girl, now let's cue the cry because now it's time for the tears. That is so beautiful.
Yeah, awesome guy. Somebody said, what did I study? I had my bachelor in business. Yeah, and with a specialization in entrepreneurship.
And I see all your designs. You know, your dresses are flawless. They look amazing, and I know those dresses aren't easy, especially when you first start putting them little feathers on by hand and the little diamonds and all that stuff. Girl, I can't. Yeah. You know. But it sort of makes me wonder, like, do you think about that, like, the talent that I have, where does it come from?
I do, because I didn't know anybody that sewed. My mom, now, you know, they used to have the little cookie jar where they would keep the butter cookie jar with throwing stuff in it. Mm-hmm. But I have never seen her sew aside from just patching up clothes and stuff like that. But one day I started making doll clothes. And out of nowhere, just started making clothes for my dolls because I didn't like what they had on. And then I asked my mom if she could buy me a sewing machine, and she went out and bought it, and the rest is history. So I do wonder sometimes, and I credit God for my talents, definitely. But I do wonder if maybe my mom had a natural ability of, you know, sewing or even just anything crafty, because it's, you know, it's in me. I've never went to school for that. I taught myself over the years, and yeah.
Love it. Because in order to, like, do what you do, it's like, how much time does it even take you to do one dress?
Now, I've gotten pretty good at it. I can do a dress in a day.
You're kidding me. One girl told me it took her 3 months.
No, I've been doing it so long, it's like muscle memory. I have a lot of brides that come to me, because, you know, it's a lot of scamming going on out here. So I get a lot of brides like, oh my God, can you help me? My wedding is next week. And I'm a sucker for a sob story. Like, I'm an empath for real. So, okay. And then I'll do it. Like, I've done some of the dresses on my page. A lot of the dresses on my page I've done in a day. I've done 3 dresses in a day at one time, and quality. Like, I'm not even just talking about just throwing something together, because I'm big on quality. Yeah.
Dresses. Golly, girl.
prom season is crazy. It is. It gets wild.
Especially with these new kids, like the stuff they be wearing for
They are
prom.
different. They are different, and
I would have never.
they are bougie. They are bougie. I got my dress for prom from Macy's on the clearance rack, and it was $100.
Mine
They
was,
are
I think,
different.
$300, but that's really not that much. How much they pay you? Like 15, 2,000, 3,000?
It's like 15 plus design, because they want these designs that you see on Real Housewives and Keisha Kaur and Portia and all these gowns. So yeah, they're up there.
Oh my gosh! And who is paying? Like, whose mama is girl?
They
I don't
do
know how
it.
we digress to this, but I've got other questions. Maybe we're going to do another live about just the dresses and 2024 prom season. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
girl, when does your season start?
It starts in October, and
For prom?
I'm kind of, huh?
For prom?
Well, it usually starts in October, but this year I'm kind of debating on. I only open up a few, so I usually do like 60 to 100 dresses each prom season, but I'm debating this year because last year was very, very rough. Me and my husband actually lost a baby. I was pregnant during prom season, so it's kind of touchy for me. Like I don't want to. I feel like I took on too much, and sometimes. And it goes back to those feelings of anxiety and everything. Sometimes I'll take on so much so I don't feel, other things, or I don't have time to stop and think and get sad about this. Or so I'm just trying to see what I want to do this year as far as taking her. Yeah.
Friend, that is heavy. That is really heavy. Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I do believe everything happens for a reason. And like I said, I have a 3-month-old now, so I still have my feelings about it, and but God knows what He's doing.
We have a prayer in Islam. It says whenever someone dies, the perfect and the best thing that you can give them is this prayer, and it goes, "From God we came, and to Him we shall return." That is the ultimate cycle of life. There is no life without death, and there is no death without life. So, yeah, everything does happen for a reason, and you better believe that baby is waiting for you on the other side.
I already know. It's a blessing in everything, and I feel like even down to my husband's family, I feel like it brought us all closer. And I feel like at the time that was very needed. So, because life will kind of have you going every which way. But I feel like, and my husband calls that baby a soldier. That baby was our soldier. And he or she came in and fought the fight that we needed at that time. And then, that was our blessing. So.
Absolutely. So shout out to Sarah's Good Cooking. That's my boo, and her cooking is good. She says, "Hi, beautiful queens. Are you doing sewing classes? Just asking. I have a small sewing machine, and I want to learn."
I do classes. I love teaching. I love teaching, absolutely. And I heard you say something today. I saw a video today where you said you were speaking about passion and purpose.
Yes, girl.
And I did a video on that a long time ago, maybe like a couple of years ago. And I decided, okay, so sewing is my passion, but what is my purpose? And it's to teach. So I definitely.
Why do you feel that? You wake up every morning thinking about teaching? That's like something that burns you in the middle of the night?
I wouldn't say burns me, but it's like a different feeling that I get when I do teach. And it's more I want to explore into that, like I'm still figuring it out. I do the one-on-one classes and stuff, but I do eventually want to take it bigger, you know what I'm saying? So I can reach more people, even people that feel like they don't even want to get up and continue on. Just giving them hope and that excitement of learning how to do something that will take your mind off of what you're going through. Yeah, that's my thing.
Absolutely. And sometimes your purpose, passion, which your passion is sewing, your purpose is teaching, that obviously goes hand in hand. Teach sewing. Like, Does it
Yeah,
make sense?
make it any clearer.
Oh, China. Well, I really hope that you're able to find some closure soon. I hope God leads someone or something, some type of resource in your life that can help you get those answers that you have been searching for so long. I really, really, really do. And if anybody is watching, hearing, seeing this, and you know any way you can help, please reach out to her. Like, please, please, please do so.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are awesome. Seriously, and I'm not gonna stop telling you. You are beautiful inside and out. Even just talking to you for the first time yesterday, girl, I feel like I know you my whole life. So
Are we friends?
we friends.
Are we fancy?
You stuck with me now.
Oh, well. Okay, so I guess Sarah's still asking. So if they want to sign up for a class or something, how do they do that?
You can just shoot a DM. Just shoot a DM right on over, and I'll get you set up.
Okay.
Absolutely, love it. Thank you.
And thank you, Sarah. Her energy is like through the roof. It is amazing. So shout out to Sarah, Adre, Past, everybody who's been tuned in and watching and loving all over us. We appreciate it. We really do.
Love it.
I love it. Okay, girl. You go hang out, do your thing, whatever your daily thing is, and I appreciate you for being here.
All right. And thank you so much. And thank you everybody on here. I really do appreciate the kind words. I really do. I'm gonna go cry now.
No.
Take these off. A good cry. It's a good cry this time.
Okay, good. I love good cries. Bye, baby girl.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care.
Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. Did y'all see me crying like the whole time? I'm like, ooh, I'm so glad I ain't put no foundation on, because baby, I'll be looking like a jack-lantern. That is beautiful. Sometimes through those hardships, you get that story like China's, where you took that hardship and now you're thinking about different ways to make other people's lives easy, even though you're going through it. Now in your mind, you're thinking, okay, well, how can I help other people like myself, even though you are still in need? That's the most beautiful way to make yourself feel better. If you're having a really bad day, I promise you, bring ease to somebody else. If they're hungry, feed them. If they don't have an umbrella, give them one. Anything that can bring ease to somebody, I promise you, it's going to boost your mood. It's going to make you feel better. You're going to feel like, I don't know, it's just a great feeling, man. So try it. And thank you guys for tuning in. Okay, bye.